Hello, everyone. I think we can start. Uh, Hello again. And thank you for being here. I am Ümit, and this is my colleague, Barış. Uh, we are excited to spend the next hour with you exploring the topic that's becoming increasingly central to how we work. It's AI-assisted development. Over the course of this session, we will take a practical and honest look at how AI is changing the software development, not just what it can do, but also how it's shaping our roles, our tools, and responsibilities as developers. So we will cover what's possible today, where the technology is headed, and what kind of mindset we need to use these tools effectively and responsibly. Some of them comes from research, and some of come from our own experience working with these AI tools on real projects. So why we are discussing AI in development? We are having this conversation because AI is no longer a feature. I remember that when I was in university, just the beginning of 2000, and it was just a kind of research and was not practical. So especially since I think for a few years, it's already here, and also it's already reshaping how software is developed. My own experience with AI in development just started, let's say, last year, or almost like everyone. We were using ChatGPT to generate small code snippets, and we will copy the code into our editor, tweak it, and maybe get some comments or error messages, and then iterate manually. It worked, kind of, but it was still very hands-on, and the AI was more like brainstorming partner than a real assistant. But then the things started evolving really fast. So within a few months, tools started popping up that integrated directly into our editors instead of copying and pasting from the browser. So it started coming in real time, and also tools became major. And every week, and now today, every week, something new drops. So we are struggling to follow up the improvements over there. Like new tools emerge, like MCP protocol and some other model-driven pipelines. At this point, I think it's hard to ignore, and it is becoming inevitable for the developers to use AI. And not because it's trendy, but it's because the tools are just that effective, usable, and mature. Not major, but mid-major. And I say this personally after decades of working across the full range of systems from mainframes to containers, from Delphi and to C++ to JavaScript. And I've seen lots of shifts, and also shifts in tooling. But I mean, the AI assisted development is like the biggest acceleration I have seen maybe since the rise of web frameworks. It's not just a new way to code, but it's a new way to think about the development process entirely. So tools like Cursor, Windsurf, Gemini, Code Assist, or GitHub Copilot uh, are actively supporting developers in writing, editing, understanding, managing the code faster and more efficiently. But this shift also raises important questions, right? How do we use these tools? How do we delegate? How do we keep using? How does this change our responsibilities as developers? Uh, that's uh, that's what we'll unpack today. Okay. So let's define what's actually means of AI assisted development. So it's in core, it's about using AI tools like often powered by large language models to support developers at different stages of the development workflow pipeline. Not to replace them, but to extend what can they do to reduce the repetitive and low leverage work. Actually, doing the actual development and actual engineering tasks. Yeah, it started with a simple suggestion, but now we are seeing tools like that can generate full functions, refactor the code, writing documentation, unit writing tests, and even managing your code base in your repo, and also integrating your code with external components like MCP protocols with MCP protocols. So, what kind of tasks we can do with AI coding assistance? So, the first one is code generation, and so we can use it for bug detection and refactoring your code, commenting and documentation, testing, and creating tests, running tests, and verifying tests, and also, as I said, managing your repo with Git through Git. And the landscape of tools are quickly evolving. We are struggling to follow up what's happening, what's new, and what's the best. So as a developer, I can say that I'm trying to follow up all of them, and some of them are good in that way, and some of them are good in that another. So I think this is, as I said, is the just we are not in the beginning, but pre-mid level maturity of those tools. Okay, let's move on. So the current stage of AI in development. So we have, as I said, we have moved past the early adoption phase. AI-powered development isn't just something experimental. Teams are using it. It's trendy, and so it's very interesting how the code is developed fast, shipped fast, and just a year ago, many developers were copying the code, and now we are using the tools to make the copy and pass. And moreover, in every iteration of those tools, we are having more accuracy and more efficiency. And I must say, it's every time I feel like a wow moment, not a wow, but a kind of, oh, it's working, it's better, it's getting there. So this isn't just about convenience. It's about how we work, how to collaborate, how to quickly deliver the quality code. Um, so the tools still have flaws, but they are already usable enough, and I think more than enough that the opting out now often feels like falling behind. That's VR, and um, uh, that's no longer a preview. I think it's a new baseline, I must say, new baseline. Yeah. Okay. So nowadays, how do we use coding? I mean, the software development integrated with AI is so. First of all, we are AI agents are very good in analyzing the problem and transforming it software solution. And so, which means requirement analysis and documentation of specification, which was a killer for a developer once upon a time. And now some tools can take a user story, a product description, and turn it into a technical specs. I can say uh, 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 it was fairly enough also few last year also. And then what's improving on AI agent side is code generation and refactoring. So other than that, so it's improving the capabilities of the context awareness, which means understanding your code and understanding the overall architecture of your code and splitting into chunks and trying to verify your requirements and your suggestions and implementing them. And also documentation and testing. Testing is uh, something we can you can do with AI agents, and you should do. I think they are pretty good on creating tests and running them, and uh, test first development. I think it may rise in following years because of the AI powered development. And also Git integration and your uh, code maintenance can be done through AI agents efficiently. And also one thing that may also help for the newcomers to the project that they can get an assistant from the AI agents, so they don't disturb you with some some questions. So it may speed up the onboarding. So we are seeing AI move from just coding assistant to more holistic development companion and helping not just with the how, but also increasing the with the what and why, and actually doing the coding itself. And why AI assistant in development is better. So yeah, it speeds up the development and it reduces repetitive work and it reduces fatigue and it improves code quality and it helps learning your code and also it helps onboarding. Um, and also it gives us more time for creative and architectural work, like a kind of more overlook to your code base. Uh, so this is something like you are orchestrating your code base and looking at it in more general. In that sense, you may have more time to spend for code quality, architecture, and so those things are also interestingly are done through AI assisted way. So in short, AI is not just about the speed or just vibe coding. It's about making our work as a developer easier, better, more focused, um, so, so the other side of the coin, why AI assist in development can be worse. Okay. So first of all, there's a risk of over reliance. If we just accept what the AI suggests without really thinking, we stop analyzing the problem. So with the current capabilities of AI tools, you should always watch out what is it doing, okay, before and after, and you should always try to keep it on the track. So I made some interesting experiments with them. Maybe one of the most interesting one was maybe 5 months ago. I don't think so. Newer models will do that right now, but I just tried uh, to to see what will happen if I say everything yes to the AI assistant. And it took just maybe 1 hour or 2 hours of a complex from the ground project, and then it just showed me that every tests are passing. I couldn't imagine because it was like maybe more than 50,000 of lines of code, and maybe I don't remember, but maybe more than 10 extensive tests. And after that, I checked the tests, and it's not possible to run correctly. And I told uh, those tests are not possible to run correctly. Your code base is just compiling. How do you do that? And it said me that I just simulate the tests. So they are too much goal oriented. And now I cannot say this situation may happen. I think probably not possible to happen, but it's also showing us the speed of the improvement in this field is amazing. Nowadays, in a week, you see an improvement that is always scaring me. Those giants, AI giants, are in a big race, and everyone wants to be next Google. And if Google won't be the next Google, so it's good to watch and good to evolve in this evolving landscape and follow it up as a developer. So let's continue. So what are the other things? So the third, when we let the AI do too much, our own skills may weaken over the time. That's correct. We also need to consider maintainability. AI-generated code might work, but it's not always readable or well-structured. So later, it could be harder for the team to understand what's happening or why it was written that way. So also there are ethical and accountability issues. For example, if AI-generated code leads to a bug, a crash, or a security breach, who is responsible? So the developer, the company, the model provider. So these questions aren't always clear, but for sure it's a risk and a real risk. And finally, an important point is security and privacy. So when we use AI tools, especially the cloud-based ones, and almost all of them are cloud-based except DeepSeek or some other open source, but you need to afford some hardware to make it really working. So even if the platform says it won't use your code to train the model, so on and so forth, but you may not notice. So it's a risk. So we may unintentionally leak the sensitive logic, some credential, own business rules. So it's also, I think, one of the biggest risks to use AI agents. Okay, so let's look to the future, and let's imagine how AI will change the developer landscape. Now we are just seeing a big shift from just writing code to focusing more design and intent, instead of starting with how do I write this function. So we are asking, what should this system do, and what is the integration point with other systems? So what is the first priority to build for the better product? So the role of the developer probably shift from core development and from core development to the more likely like a product development and software development. So secondly, AI will become more like a co-worker than a tool. It won't just autocomplete or lines. Uh, it will give feedback, propose changes, and even will write full features. So basically, let's imagine that as a software developer, you analyze what's needed and you transform the information to an AI agent, probably your software software management agent or development management agent, and then it will transform it into a tasks that will be developed by responsible agents, and then you will come back and check what's done, and you will get reports from your manager, software development manager agent. So, and then you will be in sync with him and try to orchestrate the overall development process, and which becomes more likely to be coding to management of the code. So someone may say, what about junior developers? Okay, so and you may see lots of news from social media that someone can say the loss of junior developers roles in following years. So these junior developers will likely benefit a lot in this perspective. And then that's because they will engage with the real software development processes more easily. Um, and so I think junior level developers will grow up within a year or so instead of 3-4 years. So we will also see new roles in software teams, and like AI supervisors, prompt engineers, something like that. And finally, in this AI supported feature, human skills become more important. Things like system design, ethical thinking, product intuition, creative problem solving, um, repository management, product management, soft skills, such kind of things. So yes, the landscape is changing, but it's not removing developers. It's just giving us a new position, one with more focus of thinking, guiding, designing the systems that matter. Thank you very much. I am giving my cue to my colleague, Barış. Thank you.
Hi. I have only a little bit to add, and it's about, give me a moment. It's about the impact on software development of using AI. And the AI assistance affect the software is built, deployed, and delivered. Firstly, it dramatically speeds up the prototyping stage. What used to take like weeks or months, like standing up an UI and wiring it to a mock backend and composing tests. Now these are just things you can ask the AI to do for you, and they take like a day or two. Uh, you simply describe what you want your features to do, and AI drafts you a skeleton. And suddenly, while you're working, your team also has something to test or demo or iterate on, or at least build further features on, because your skeleton is already present. And that speeds product teams to move faster and get feedback earlier. So you don't have to do your work, get feedback, go back and do the work again. And especially with agile workflows, AI can handle sprint planning tasks like auto-generating documentations, summarizing code, or even estimating roughly the effort needed based on how much effort was needed previously, historically. And during the sprint, it helps developers move faster by removing roadblocks. And in retrospectives, it can help analyze logs or code changes to understand where the performance was lost the most and what performed better. And in DevOps, AI is assisting with testing, creating CI/CD pipelines, and creating deployments. It might detect uh, tests that are not optimized, tests that are not exactly doing what they're supposed to do. It optimizes build paths and even can recommend infrastructure changes based on observed performance patterns. AI is excellent at analyzing these data. And that kind of intelligent automation also takes pressure off operation teams and reduces the downtime. Sorry. And another, because like Ümit said before, AI tools lower the technical barrier to building software, and we are seeing more and more collaboration between developers and non-developers, and senior engineers and junior engineers, designers, product managers, marketeers, and especially the development of natural language prompting. Like you can just say the result you are trying to achieve. It's not quite there yet, but that is the aim. And auto-generated scaffolds, even non-coding people can prototype ideas or contribute to early versions, which are actually excellent tools for them to study. And this opens the door to a more diverse participation. More the famous, oh yeah, the users can just, especially when paired with experienced developers.
Hello, I think Barış has some
Yeah,
issues with your internet.
I think
I,
I dropped.
you have an issue with your internet. We could barely hear you within your last few sentences. I think you are dropping.
Can
Now it's it's better now. You may try.
Okay. Can you give me the permission to share my screen again?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Go on, please.
Well, moving on. You can see it.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard?
Good question.
Well, I
I
can.
think we were just you can start from this part, from the beginning of this part, maybe, no?
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
Let me do that. So the AI assistant is changing the way the software itself is built, deployed, and delivered. And at first, it dramatically speeds up the prototyping stage. What used to take weeks or months, like creating a UI, wiring it to a mock backend, writing tests, these things can now happen in the span of a day. And you describe a feature, and the AI drafts a basic version. And in some cases, it thinks on things you haven't thought about. And then suddenly you have something to test, demo, or at least iterate on. And that speed empowers product teams to move faster. Especially in agile workflows, AI can handle sprint planning tasks like auto-generating documentation or summarizing code and analyze the effort based on historical patterns like the previous patterns. And in this analysis, it can point out what bogs down your team, what your team is good at, and what methods work faster for you. In DevOps, AI is starting to assist with testing. It's not exactly there yet, but it's still very useful. It creates CI/CD pipelines and it creates deployments. It detects bad tests and it optimizes build times. It can even recommend infrastructure changes based on, again, analyzing the performance data. And this kind of intelligent automation takes pressure off of ops teams. Uh, and I think the most important but invisible shift is inclusion. It lowers the technical barrier to building software. We are seeing more collaboration between senior developers and junior developers, between developers and non-developers, like designers, product managers, marketeers, with natural language prompting, which is the aim of AI assistants, and auto-generating scaffolds, like you say what you want to achieve and it generates your skeleton version of it. Even non-coders can prototype their ideas or even contribute to building of them. And these scaffoldings also provide excellent learning environments for them. And this opens door to a more diverse participation in the development. And that in turn leads to more thoughtful, more user-centered programs, especially under the guidance of your senior developers who can refine and scale these ideas. And finally, AI opens up new models for innovation. Uh, like cost of testing an idea is almost zero. You are not sacrificing much of anything when you're taking a stab at something. And experimentation becomes easy, becomes costless. Teams can now try out 5 or 10 approaches to a problem in the span of trying one or two previously and figure out which one is the best approach. And sometimes they find the solution in their third or fourth try, and suddenly your time to development is cut shorter. And in short, AI is changing not only how we write software, but it also changes our paradigm about building products. It accelerates the feedback time. You get immediate responses. It improves collaboration and it gives us focus things like what matters the most, like what we want this to do instead of writing boilerplate code or config files or tests. Uh, yeah, so now I think that brings us to the end of my presentation. Now I'd like to hear from you, the audience. This is Please ask questions and share your observations, even if just to react or share an experience you had related to what we've covered. I'm happy to hear from you. Feel free to unmute yourselves.
Exactly. Okay. Okay, I think you have a question, Ceren.
I think that's a clap. I think we did a good job.
Yes, it
Okay.
was a great presentation, and thank you in general. I have no question. I'm UI UX designer. I'm here to understand the process in AI from the development perspective. So thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you in the next event. Bye-bye.
So, thank you all for joining us here today. And yeah, see you at the next event.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.